All right, we're going to go over misalignments, which are common errors that you might come across when proofreading in FlyWire. For this example, we've got this branch here, which is continuing up from this cell body. And right here, we see that there is a break where the neuron has not continued. Part of the way that we can tell that this is not just a natural termination of the branch, but an actual mistake, is by the width of the area. Usually branches taper off, and also if we look closer, we can see that it breaks off in this straight line. So that's a pretty good clue that there's an issue and not just sort of a natural ending to the branch. So to figure out what's going on with this branch, let's start a little bit further down the branch and we can scroll through as we normally would. So we can see as we're going down the branch, we've got this fluid motion as we scroll through until we come to this end point, at which point it just terminates suddenly. So it kind of looks like there's just some other stuff in this area that's replaced our cell, and that is what is happening. The issue is that this slide is misaligned from the previous slide, meaning that all of the images have shifted over, and it can be hard to continue visually finding the continuation that we're looking for. So one trick you can use to help in situations like this, especially when you've got a bunch of stuff in the area that kind of all looks the same and you're having a hard time figuring out where the neuron that you're looking for is continuing. One trick that I like to do is to find something else in the area that you can follow visually. Usually you want to look for a bigger object, something that's somewhat visually distinct from the items around it. So, and you want to get pretty close to the point where the neuron breaks, but you want to make sure that you still have the neuron in your visual field when you're looking for something else close to it. So to me, this object looks pretty distinct. And what I'm going to do is add an annotation layer and then click on the annotation layer, right click to select it, and then I'm going to select an annotation point and I'm going to place that right here. And then it looks to me like this object is just shifting a bit to the left. So it looks like it's this thing here, and as I go slide by slide, you can see that a little bit more clearly. You can see the shift happening right here, and then I'm going to scroll a little bit and I'm going to place another annotation point here. Now what you want to do is you want to click back on the first annotation point, which will push this object to the middle of the screen. But what you want to do is focus on this area over here, which is the neuron that we're actually looking at. So you're going to go over to this first annotation point, and then we can just click over to the second annotation point while looking visually down here. So as we click between these points, to me it looks like the continuation of the object is this right here. Click between them one more time, and so I'm going to double click here, and then I'm going to look over in the 3D, and obviously you can see in the 3D that there's a misalignment between these two objects, but what you want to be looking for is similarities between the structures, and I think that this structure and this one look pretty similar. And then you want to go back to the EM and make sure. So I'm gonna just scroll between them quickly, and you can see where there's a jump, but now that we've selected both of them, I think it's fairly easy to see that it does look like that's a good continuation of this branch. All right, so after that, we're going to merge these two together. So just press M for merge, and we're going to select one and then select the other, and then they should merge together. And after the merge, we're going to need to refresh. And we can see that they're merged together in the correct place.